addicted to what you and I realize. Lead the way, I follow. No need to say where we are heading now, babe. I follow to the edge of it all. So tell you good night, 'cause I'll find no matter what. Yeah, susceptible now before the moment flies, before it flies. So tell you good night, 'cause I'll find no matter what. Susceptible now.
Am I back? Do you guys hear me? Okay.
What's up, everyone? I'm Rob, and I'm the deepest V-neck in the wardrobe.
Hey, this is Murph. I'm the nameless man.
What's up, guys? It's Shay. I'm the one that keeps these boys in line, and welcome to the Waiting Table Podcast. What is up?
Hey, what is up?
I guess.
I liked your deep V one. That was good.
Right?
That was good.
Thanks,
We'll work
guys.
on it, but it was good.
Enjoy. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on our second March Madness episode on the Waiting Table Podcast, where we have roundtable discussions about the hottest topics in weight loss with, of course, the coolest people from the bariatric community. I'm Rob. This is Murph. We got Shay. And for the second time today, we got you guys. So grab a chair, wind down from your busy day, and take a seat at the table. Murph, March Madness is in full effect. How do you feel right now, man?
What? Hey, doing great, man. I'm a little sleepy, a little tired. Took a little nap in between the two shows, but I am super.
I was inspired. It was siesta. You know, we were talking from Carl from Spain. Siesta time. It was fitting, right?
Very.
Absolutely. And but it's a lot of fun. I mean, meeting Carl was fantastic, and talking about Barcelona, of course, is one of my favorite things. So yeah, I was totally fangirling on both. But tonight we've got a very special guest, somebody who doesn't need an introduction. So I'm just going to tell you what this guy means to me real quick. Almost 2 years ago, I had bariatric surgery, and two guys came to my rescue, came to my aid. I came into this Instagram not even knowing what Instagram was. I didn't even get it. I didn't understand what I was doing. And I just said, hey, I need help. And two guys, both by the name of Rob, reached down, pulled me up, gave me some tips, some pointers, and the rest is history. And so for the second time at the waiting table, I'd like to introduce again. Everybody calls him Dad Rob, but I just call him Rob. Welcome to the table again, Rob. It's good to have you, man.
What's up, buddy?
Good evening.
Hashtag Team Rob. How are you, man?
I know it's been a minute since we got Team Rob going.
I know, man.
Yeah, this is great.
So you guys recorded a whole other episode before this one?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Just you. I'm already ready to go to bed. And
Me too.
I got to tell you, you got to give a warning that the music comes on at full steam. I had the mic up a little too loud. So I'm sitting there quietly reflecting on my day. I'm tired. And all of a sudden I hear, we'll call it 70s show music. And all of a sudden, I'm pretty sure I soiled myself. But we're at this point in the night.
That's why we don't tell people. We like to see the reaction.
I thought you were going to say, we like to see people soil themselves. I'm like,
that too.
Okay.
Part of the reaction.
Hey, we talked a lot about spoiling earlier. So, yeah, why not?
Want to make sure you're awake and ready.
That's right. And speaking of awake and ready, and we have multiple Robs, which is becoming more of a frequent thing. My dad's name is Rob. He was on the show a bit earlier this year.
Ooh.
I am bringing on a new segment. Are you guys ready for
always
the debating waiting table?
Oh, my.
Okay. Oh, hold on. Oh, let's do something.
Okay, wait, let me try that again. Hold on. Tell me
go
what
for
you
it.
got.
Yeah, go
No,
for
I
it.
saw it. It came up perfect. And
Yeah.
then,
The debating lady.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Whoa.
Whoa.
That's the best you can get.
That's what I wanted. So, how I'm gonna do my little this again. This is like my sneaky
Right.
getting
It's like your
ready.
sinister get ready type thing.
Yep.
Cool.
So on the debating waiting table, I'm going to present a scenario. And how I'm going to do it is we're going to have Rob and Rob take opposite ends of like the debate. And Murph, you're going to be the voice of the people, taking comments and seeing what they say, and just kind of with yourself. They're going to be trying to win you over. So you're going to have to agree with one of them on what they're
but I usually agree with Rob.
I know. I don't think we can disagree.
I don't mean to put a wrench in the works here, but I don't see comments on my end.
Oh, okay. Well, then I will help be the voice of the people, but Murph, you are the ultimate decision maker. Okay.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. Don't tell my wife.
Perfect. So this is from a subreddit. Do you guys know what Reddit is, or are you guys too old for that?
Too old.
Oh,
I can only
yeah.
imagine random people on the internet, and it's going to be perfectly sane, and it will make sense and
100%.
coherent. So let's go.
Yep.
Reddit.
Yep. So this is a subreddit called, I don't know, can we curse on here? It's our show, right? I mean, I don't know if
Yeah.
that's the word, but it's the subreddit, Am I the Asshole? Okay. So
Well, the answer is yes for me.
Yes.
So we can move
Yes.
on to the next
Yes.
question.
Next
Okay.
question.
That's fine. So Dad Rob, you're going to take the answer of yes, this person is the asshole. And V-neck Rob, you're going to take the stance of no, this person isn't the asshole, okay?
All right. Done.
I mean, they're posting on a subreddit, so doesn't that answer that? Like, I'm still
Yes.
not sure. Didn't we answer this one?
Yeah.
Listen to the scenario, okay? I'm not going to read all of it. I'll kind of summarize it, but essentially, this guy is it's a husband, so you guys can relate. He's
Asshole.
Right. Well, no, make sure you're on the side.
Oh
right.
shoot, not an asshole.
That's your side. So he is like a penny pincher, wanting to take care of his family, but now they live kind of like a comfortable life. They make enough money, but he gets annoyed with his wife because the wife will go to Costco every week and like buys too much food, and it ends up going bad. And so they got chickens to kind of help like with some of the food waste. But he had gone outside and saw that there was like a head of lettuce that was expired but still looked okay, a couple potatoes, and a cucumber. And he was like really mad that she put it out for the chickens to have. So what he did is he made dinner that night, and he used the potatoes that had gotten thrown out. Sorry, I don't know if I said that there were potatoes that she had thrown out. He made a salad with the lettuce and the cucumber and served it to his family.
Damn.
And the wife was pissed that he did that because he basically used garbage to make dinner. So Dad Rob, you have to convince Murph and our listeners that he is the asshole. Rob, you have to defend him in this case and say he's not the asshole. Go.
I feel like he's an asshole.
He fed his kid garb. Like, I don't know. They need to go to therapy. They need to get to the key root of this is
Right.
Why have you not planned out your meal? See, I'll spin it to my way. If they came and worked with me and made intentional plans for their meals and their grocery list, this wouldn't be a problem. So I think they need to slide into my DMs right away.
Right. And my
Shameless
counterpoint would be they're all assholes.
Rob, you suck at this game.
What do you think, Murph?
Hold
on.
I could kind of see it.
I mean, I totally get like not wasting food, but if it's like food on the ground or garbage, there's 5-second rule.
Could the wife have thrown it out if it wasn't really that bad?
Yeah, but she did, and it's out there, and like it's just no. That's a real jerk thing to do. I'm gonna have to say the dude is an asshole.
Hey,
Sure.
we got another hot take from my mother-in-law. He is definitely not the asshole. She is wasteful. Ooh.
I agree that she is wasteful, but Hey, you served your family garbage.
Yeah, but you got to pick your battles here, and
Yeah, I feel like
you
that's
can't just, like I would want to like be like, you're wasteful. Use this
Well,
food,
and a little
but
context. A little
it's already gone.
He had already been trying to tell her, like, please don't buy as much food. Rob, my waiting in history, gave us a list already. We need to stick to that. Maybe not quite that part, but he had already been trying to. So it wasn't like this was a first offense. You know what I mean?
I feel like Shay, you're choosing a side here. You're picking the wife's side,
No,
and you're trying to sell me. You're trying to sway the judge here.
Counter argument because the boys didn't really give it the counter, so I'm just trying to play devil's advocate.
Assholes.
No, I think it was a jerk move though for him to feed it to his family. Like that's just, and yeah, Rob gave a good argument, so I'm just gonna say, dude is an asshole. That's
I agree.
It's settled. Good job. Thank you guys for participating in the debating waiting table.
And do you know what the biggest takeaway was? They should have contacted Rob.
Yeah.
And come up with a plan.
That was their first mistake.
That's the first mistake. So let's start there, Rob. What do you got going on, man? You got a lot of really, really cool things going on right now. So tell us about it, man.
It's one of those I've been trying to wrap my brain around. How can I help the bariatric community in the best way possible? And it's been something that I think of when I had Instagram lives and started with Men's Support Monday and talking with you guys, and just the connection of there's so many people who could use support, guidance, or just some insight through things. And I just wanted to help. So it was one of those things that I've been working behind the scenes to get my certification and get into nutrition and fitness coaching, and really just start to help people. So I founded my own company, and I started to get into online nutrition and fitness coaching.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations. That's a big deal.
The last 3 hours I had to spare in my life, I was like, yeah, let's fill these.
Yeah.
So
I love
it.
Exactly. Well, and for those, Rob, that don't know you or maybe haven't seen, much about you, can you give just a little synopsis of your story? Because I think being a bariatric patient is what makes your support even cooler, because you get it.
Yeah, it was one of those things that, at my highest weight, I was 365 pounds. I was burning out a medical grade CPAP. My doctor pretty much told me that I could go to bed relatively soon and probably not wake up because of my sleep apnea. And I knew I had to make a change. And it was one of those things that when I decided to make the change, I knew I wanted to dive right in and do as best as I could. And I really committed to learning my bariatric behavior goals that my support systems put into place for me. So it was one of those that I realized from doing the bariatric behavior goals, I was able to lose 50 pounds on my own and then start to go into my own. But as I got through my surgical program with Penn Medicine, it was one of those things that I realized there really aren't many supports out there. And especially even when I would attend in-person support groups, I was maybe one of two dudes that I would ever see. And it was tough. It was a very lonely, isolating time for me. My body's going through changes. It was like 7th grade all over again.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things that I realized like I needed help. And I did what any normal person would do. I scoured the internet and I found out a whole bunch of wrong information. And through trial and error and process, I kind of made my own way. And it was one of those that I really realized that I didn't want to be alone. I wanted to help others who could be helped by me. And it was one of those things that my dad always told me, if you don't see the beacon, you have to be the beacon. So it was one of those things that I started doing men's support to just kind of see who would come on. I would reach out to people who inspired me and have them on. And it kind of snowballed from there. And it was like this great Field of Dreams moment where I would have people come on to the Instagram lives and I would see accounts like RD8675309. And I'd be like, what are all these spam things doing in my Instagram? And I didn't realize how many dudes keep a like burner Instagram account just to find like bariatric information, amongst other things, I'm sure. So it was one of those that I would get constant messages. How do I do this? What do I do with this? How do I do that? And I knew what it was like when I didn't have the answers. So I really committed to answering whatever questions I could. And I kind of wanted to help in the best way possible. So I figured I should get myself the proper education, get everything together, and help others in the ways that, people showed up for me.
That's awesome. That's amazing. And so, how did you come up with the name? Because I love the name.
I'm a busy man. It actually comes down to Maddie Spar actually helped me with that. It was one of those that we were talking about, what do you do with all your time? And it was one of those that's like, well, I do this. And, you know, other groups always ask me, can you do this for our community? Can you do this for their community? And I want to help and show up in as many ways as possible. But I always tell people I'm busy. Like
Yeah.
you know, I think the reason we're doing 9 o'clock at night on a Wednesday is I had 2 other community calls before this. I was meeting with people and trying to help them figure out their goals. You know, I work a daytime job. Like, trust me, like I'm literally, I'm recording behind a pantry in a basement. Like, you don't think like you've got Batman. You've got Batman on a budget, but it's one of those things that I wanted to make a plan that could be clear for the people who have lives, who have kids, who are still working a full-time job, and that they don't necessarily have the time to meet at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, or that they need to find meal plans or workout plans that can be done in 30 to 40 minutes. So my whole thing was like, how can we be busy? How can we be efficient? And how can we get the most results with the least amount of work? And that's kind of where the name came from. And it's just kind of evolved, you know, from there.
Well, and I think that's why it's so helpful though, Rob, because you're so relatable in that way. I think a lot of people, you know, it's like, of course, in the perfect case scenario where, you know, you don't have to work full time, you can just focus on, you know, your nutrition and your fitness, like that would be a lot easier, you know? And so I think that's cool that you've added this on and you can relate with people who are like, I literally don't have time to go to the bathroom. You're like,
Yeah.
I get it. I'm there too. I think that's so awesome.
And I think it's important that, you know, no bariatric patient is a bariatric patient in a vacuum. We have lives, we have loved ones, we have families, we have commitments outside of a new lifestyle. So if we can find a way to do it as quickly and as fastly as possible with the most efficiency, why wouldn't we want that? So it's one of those things that like I try to make it as clear to the point and do what I can, but it's also one of those that sometimes it's listening and understanding what they need in order to succeed.
Yeah.
So Rob, how far out after surgery are you again?
I'm coming up on my 3-year mark and
Wow.
I still can't believe it.
That's amazing.
Gone fast, eh?
You blink, right?
Rep, 100%.
So my question for you is, I get this question even just being a year out. So like, oh man, 3 years out and you had to change your whole lifestyle and now you can still just eat like 800 calories. You know, you probably do mostly liquid. What are your thoughts? Or you get those questions too, probably, right?
You know, it's funny. You're in a weird point when you get in the maintenance phase because you don't have the same magical sleeve you had right after pro stop, and nor should you. And it's one of those things that I don't think there's enough awareness that we put in our community that, you know, bariatric surgery for me was a life-changing surgery, but in order for it to be life-changing, I had to change my lifestyle.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that, you know, as I've evolved, I've been able to eat more food. I also have workout goals that I want to hit. And it's one of those things that when we think increased calories, it's not adding another thing of Reese's cups to the menu. It's how do we fuel ourselves the fullest way possible with the most amount of calories while still feeling sustained for workouts. And that's something that, you know, me and Rob have talked about in depth on times of if we want to hit our goals cycling, if we want to be able to do endurance sports, if we want to really take advantage of that full life that we're always trying to get to after bariatric surgery, we need to have the proper nutrition and fueling to do that.
Yeah, and I absolutely love seeing sort of your evolution through this because I know early on you were very, very into the DDP yoga, and that was a big basis of your physical activity early on. And to see you get into more of the endurance sports and more of the weights and everything else, I absolutely love it. And I loved seeing your focus on being able to adapt. You know, your talks with Kim, everything you've been doing with Kim. If people, excuse me, people were to think of a bariatric patient taking in 2,500, 2,800, 3,000 calories, they would lose their crap, right? Exactly.
Try 36.
Yeah, I was
exactly,
gonna say,
right?
you're up to 35, 36. Yeah.
Like people would lose their crap. But again, it's based on what your dietary needs are for your specific goals. And that's the thing with bariatric surgery. Sure, for the first while, our goal was to lose body fat or overall weight for health. But it has to change, right? Nothing about this journey should be stagnant. And to see your evolution over time is amazing. And I think it is such a good teaching lesson for all the other people to understand that it doesn't have to stay the same. And it's okay to do that, providing that you, as a whole, holistically, what you're eating matches what your goals are physically, right? So I love that. It's so good.
And I think it's one of the most beautiful things that I love about my own journey is ever since I heard the data that it takes 7 years to get below a 10% chance of regain, I've really committed to I'm living a life in a 7-year street fight. And in order to make the marathon of 7 years, I have to change the goals so that I'm still motivated, that I find new things that drive me and new things that go. And yeah, at the beginning, I literally researched because I couldn't do a push-up. I could not run a marathon. I had to start. I literally Googled workouts for people who are overweight, and DDPY yoga came up. And it was one of those things that, like, slowly and surely I could bend over and tie my shoes, which was a big deal because at 365 pounds, the true yoga was getting my leg up high.
Yeah. And then you have that sideways tie because you couldn't. Yeah, 100%, man. I know that.
Yeah. And it's one of those things that, you know, it went from there. It went to hitting a step goal every day for 460 days in a row. It went from hitting a step goal to starting to get back into cycling. It took doing a 75-mile bike ride and cramping up at the 65th mile and not being able to, you know, extend my legs for the last 10 miles of a bike ride. Rob, you know what I'm talking about. When your body gives before you hit the goal, it was one of those that I wanted to learn how to better fuel myself. And it's going out and finding the education. It's making sure that you have a plan, and it's getting clear on goals and getting back into weightlifting and moving everything else. You know, it's a long journey, but it's a rewarding one if you keep changing your goals and finding things to do.
And I love, like, we always talk about accountability. Everyone always talks about accountability, whether it's with weight loss in general or whether we're talking about bariatric surgery or post-surgery. And I think we talk about dietary, the way we eat and sort of our actions, but I think what I'm constantly hearing from you, and I think I've heard this ever since the time I've met you, is not just accountability in those actions, but your ability to educate yourself on what you need to do. Like, that is so important. The amount of people who sort of just take things at face value, there's a lot of us are like that, and understandably so. You know, a lot of us don't know where to go for information. As you mentioned, internet's full of everyone knows everything, right? But it's taking accountability for your actions and what you are able to learn and put into action. And no, that's amazing. And that's one of the key things I've always taken from you. So that's awesome. I like it.
Thanks.
One of the questions that I have for you, Rob, is, you know, I'm stuck at a place where I'm almost at my 2 year. I'll be 2 year in June. I
cannot believe that. I still remember you. I'm so proud of you. Like, I remember you coming on from the early days, weeks after bariatric surgery. And I remember that summer. It was, you know, we were in a group text of you, me, and Rob, and I remember day by day just watching, and you were an inspiration for me, Murph, people should be able to reach out and know that there's knowledgeable voices in the community. But also, like, I've always loved the fact that, sorry, I completely cut you off before you could ask the question.
No.
But you're used to this. So, like,
keep going. Tell me.
No, it's cool.
But it was one of those of, like, I think when we look at how to have success long-term in your bariatric surgery, you have to go out and find the answers because they're not necessarily going to come to you. And I've always loved, you know, seeing your evolution, seeing this, and you guys bringing Shay on. Like, I'm beaming right now at what you're doing for this community.
Like a proud papa. I love it, man. I did have a question. And, you know, hey, you know, I wouldn't be here. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people, when they have questions, you know, they look it up on the internet. Me, I learn by doing. That I got to get my hands in. I'm a mechanical kind of person. I like to just do it or talk to somebody who has done it or can show me how to do it. Even at work right now, you know, I can't believe I work at a hospital and you know, but like, there's a lot of things that I have to do physically, and people try to, like, Well, you look it up and you can, just push in these buttons. It's like, no, I need to do it. And so you set the stage. You and Rob both are both ahead of me by a year. I think both of you have a year on me surgery wise. And you guys have shown me what to do. And that's super important to people like me, because I could read it all day on the internet, but until I see the example, and you guys totally set that example. So my question, full circle here, is, here I am almost at my 2 year. I'm maintaining at 173. This is the lowest I've ever been in my entire adult life. I like it, but I have people at work calling me petite and, hey, little guy, and like all these things, just things I'm gonna, skinny, or tiny. Yeah. If I stand sideways and stick out my tongue, I'll look like a zipper. And so I don't know what to do next in my evolution. Do I stay in this small body and just be petite, or can I bulk up? Should I bulk up? What are the benefits of bulking up? Or, is bulking up even the right term to use? You know what I mean? Like, where could I go from here? I don't count macros or any of those sorts of things. How important is that? I know I'm asking a lot of questions, but I don't know. I feel healthy. I feel good, but I know that I'd like to be stronger and faster. So what sort of advice would you give, for somebody who's just kind of teeter-tottering? Justin wants me to get into the gym. He hashtag get jacked Murph on Instagram the other day. I would like to. I don't even know where to start, though, to be completely honest with you. I don't even know where to start. So I guess, okay, first question. Sorry. What the that's I gotta start with the thighs. Cardio versus just like straight pumping iron, I guess. Like what some people would say. Yeah, I know. Kern wants me to do a try. Yeah.
You're getting a lot of ideas. We have D coming in with modeling is another
Whoa, there you go.
Hey, yeah, no, I don't. Realistic goals here. So, cardio, or do I just jump right in and just start lifting? I had a gym membership for almost a year, and I only used it maybe 6 times. But now at the hospital, they just opened the gym that I have free access to 24/7. But I don't even know where to start.
Hey, Murph, one more question too, just maybe to give people context. How tall are you?
Yeah, so I'm 5'9", 173. My BMI is supposed to be 164. So that was like, I just wanted to get I wanted to get to 199. That was I just wanted to get into Wonderland. And then I just kept losing and losing and losing. And I feel like I'm eating like a horse every day. And, I walk, 12 to 15,000 steps a day at the hospital on 12-hour shifts. And I'm staying really, really active, and I don't mean to sound like I'm struggling or whining, but like, yeah. I just don't know what to do. You know what I mean? If I start to bulk up, am I going to have to eat more, because I don't think that's possible. I feel like I'm eating every 2 hours and I'm putting in nothing but protein. I'm just conflicted. So looking to my Robs again to guide, you set a great example.
Eh?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I'll go into full teacher mode. Is before that, I think you got to get real clear of what's your goal. I really enjoy. I offer to anyone who DMs me, I will spend 30 minutes with you and just try to figure out what is it you want to be. And that might be just taking some time to reflect of what do you want your daily lifestyle to look like 3 years from now. Think about what, like when you're all said and done and you're at the proverbial finish line, what do you want your day to look like? What do you want your body to look like? I think one of the biggest problems from year 2 to 3 for me, or really like 1.5 to 2.5, is I hit a happy weight. I'm working out a lot and I didn't really have a goal. it was one of those, I didn't know where I wanted to go or what I wanted to do. And it really took a lot of time and self-reflection to figure out what did I want my body to look like. When I was down to like 210, I kind of looked almost a lot like how you felt, Murph, where I looked spindly. My face looked almost sunken in to a point. And it was one of those things that like I really started talking with both myself and my wife of what do I want my daily life to look like? And it came down to what movement made me happy.
Mhm.
And for me, it's always lifting weights. The idea of running a marathon never impressed me because if I'm run in the same direction as me because I'm being chased. And it's one of those things that, like I wasn't going to do a bodybuilding competition because I don't necessarily want to take my shirt off on a stage. And I give a lot of credit to the people who do. Those are two different things that are two incredibly great goals. But for me, I didn't fit into either one of those boxes or anywhere in between. So my goal was, I had to get clear of what did my body want to look like? What did my day want to look like? What did my eating habits want to look like? And then the sooner I got to that, it was really starting to see an idea of like, what nutrition do I need to build that goal? And then kind of go from there. But that's kind of why I like even just sitting down when people say like, hey, I want to either hit a goal weight or I want to start getting jacked in the gym. I'm like, well, why do you want to do either one of those? And a lot of the time the answer is, well, I see everyone else doing it. And it's one of those like, well, do you want to really do that? And that's probably a more important question than anything I could answer for that. But yeah, I can answer all those questions if you want to fill like an hour. But it really comes down to like, what's your goal? And that's really what I take joy in is helping you discover what your goal is and then us mapping out what that looks like. And I'm not the best person for everyone. There's been a lot of people I've talked to in the last couple months that I've said, look, this is not what I can do for you, but here's someone who is. And I think that's important is like when you're talking to people, not necessarily that they're trying to get you to do their program, but find the program that works for you.
Yeah.
So I answered none of your questions.
No, you did, and I appreciate the honesty, and it's I think like you said, you were at that point, and to me, just hearing you say that you were at that point, is kind of an answer to my question. You know what I mean? Like this is a totally normal feeling that I have. I'm not crazy. I mean, that you get to a point where you're just like I feel stuck. And then I toy around with the idea because we're always in our heads and we're our biggest critic, so that I'm like, well, I'm letting myself down, or I'm letting my followers down, or I'm letting my because I want, there are things that I want to do, but then like you said, like I just don't.
Are you happy with your lifestyle right now?
Yeah, right now I am. Yeah.
Then why do you need to change anything?
I think so. I guess for me, it's my loose skin is really getting under my skin. it's getting to me. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking like maybe I can tighten that up a bit, add some muscle, bulk up, and right. And so realistically, is that an option? And it's just like no, I should probably just have skin removal. You know what I mean? So it's just just kind of getting in my head, but hearing you say these things is, it's beneficial for me, but I'm sure other people can take away from that as well. And you provide a really good service.
Yeah. And you're not alone. I think for a lot of us, we get out of the weight loss phase and it was, I think 2 episodes ago, you were talking about, for a lot of you, you're kind of tired of posting the content of Transformation Tuesday because you've kind of been there and done that. And it's like, well, what do I do with this platform now that we're here? Right. And one of the things I try to show is like I don't do anything special on my page. I just show that I'm consistent. At this point, I'm losing weight now because I'm coming off my bulk, but it's more of I'm trying to build a lifestyle that I am happy and thriving with after bariatric surgery. So, Murph, if it's for you to get rid of the loose skin, I need to be super clear. It's one of those things that, you could lift weights and you could bulk up. It's not going to get rid of the loose skin, but it will fill out some of the loose skin. So It's one of those, but like if you hate lifting weights, like building a plan where you're going to do a 5-day split and start slamming protein and carbs isn't sustainable. So one of the things I really try to recommend and look when I talk with anyone is like, what's going to be sustainable for you so you are smiling for the rest of your life?
That's it.
And we've all been there. Like when we were at our bigger size, the reason every diet before bariatric surgery did not work for us is we tried to do something that was unsustainable for a goal we didn't clearly know why we wanted.
That's good.
And that's the reason why we have to do it differently that time. Is every other time we would eat chicken breast, steamed broccoli, and a can of Diet Air. And we would restrict ourselves for some goal that we thought we wanted at beach season that we did not know we were going to get. And ultimately, because we restricted ourselves and we hated what we did to ourselves, not only did we not lose any weight, for me, I gained an extra 20 pounds coming off that lifestyle. So for me, like, if I can help anyone, the best way I can is just find a goal that works for you and build something towards it.
Perfect.
And just to drive that point home of knowing your goal, like my goal is super different than your goal is, like, or, you know, Murph, like I want to have kids. I want to support my body to like be able to breastfeed. So like, obviously the steps I take to get there are going to look different than what you do. And so just coming more from like a woman's perspective, like my goal going in was to have kids, but also more importantly, to have a healthy metabolism. And what does that look like? I'm not a doctor, but I just have done a lot of research for myself. What a healthy metabolism looks like is I'm having regular cycles. I'm having my hormones are regulated. I'm eating enough to support my body's function. I'm not having, you know, super high highs and super low lows when it comes to energy. I'm stable. I'm constant. And so that's just something else to keep in mind more from a woman's perspective of thinking through those goals, where it's like, I know I grew up in a diet culture consuming mess, saying that I needed to have, you know, abs and I needed to have a thigh gap and all this crap, that a healthy metabolism does not often look like that. And so that, you know, I've had to ask myself that question of a lot of like, and sometimes that is people's goals, you know, women's goals to have abs or whatever the case may be. And I'm not knocking that at all. Or, you know, deep V-necks, you know, could be other people's goals, you know, there's lots there, but
deeper.
That's our, oh man, we're getting spicy. We're getting spicy now.
Serious V-necks.
Shay, you have to describe what's going on right now for our Spotify listeners.
We got some shipping, we got some unzipping of the boats. I'm not going to go more than that. I feel like we might get banned.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Just
change our rating.
And none of that was from me. Let me just make that clear.
And that was from the Robs.
Robs, man. You guys,
for us.
You have to be careful when you guys get together.
I just miss you. What can I say?
There you go.
Like only yesterday, you and me were talking about stool on Instagram Live.
That's it.
All roads lead to poop.
That's our genesis, guys. Our beginning. It's stool. It's talking about poop. I remember that conversation.
I know. We broke Instagram. Do you remember the live went off and then we did the whole episode over again and just started with a 20-minute talk on stool?
Yep, pretty much.
You guys like Kim Kardashian it. Dang.
That's what we did, guys.
Yeah.
Poop's the hot topic.
Poop is another thing, another good metabolic marker. Are you having regular bowel movements? And
there it is.
About this again.
I got my
describe what you're showing to everybody.
So this is my Catalonian pooper from Barcelona. From our previous guest this afternoon was in Barcelona, and I wanted to share this little nugget with him. So this is a nativity scene piece that you would put in the nativity scene, because this little peasant of a man only could bring this to fertilize the soil for baby Jesus. That was his gift. That was his offering. So so talking about poop, we do that almost every episode. So
Beautiful story.
Murph, one thing I do want to throw in about what you were saying and Rob's response, I 100% agree. Like, I think clarifying what your goal will really dictate what actions need to be taken, right? And sort of your approach to everything. And it's tough because, like, I think in our bariatric culture or weight loss culture, it's very much, okay, well, what's my goal physically, right? This is what I want to look like. This is what I want to be able to do, whatever the case might be. But like, and Rob said this, you know, you've inspired him. And I constantly tell you, like, for me, what is inspiring about you is sort of how open and how happy you are now and you can see that on your page. And for me, and this is very much the direction I have been trying to go, is I want to be at a place physically where I continuously feel like I'm happy with where I am, right? Whether it's I'm running a triathlon, whether I'm not, whether I'm playing pickleball, whether I'm biking a lot anymore, it doesn't really matter. It's just, what do you want? Like for me, I want to be like, I want a lot of functional strength so I can keep up with my kids. So I can be like right now, whenever you do Ninja Warrior, I'm the parent who's training my kids. I want to be able to do that and not have to sit because I'm tired. Right. And it's, again, it's whatever that lifestyle looks like for you. And I think that's the focus. But
Yeah, it's just kind of crazy. Like you know, it's like
yeah,
an identity crisis. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm a teenager again. You know,
yeah,
trying to fit in and figure out my place. You know what I mean? Do I
yeah,
go hang out? Do I go hang out with the gym rats, or do I go jog 15 miles today? And you know, as a warm up, and you know, just stay slim or stay. You know what I mean? So, it's just different. And you know, I value Rob's opinion and his expertise on the subject. So I just thought I'd bring it up, and that helped me out a lot, and I hope it helps somebody else too. So
Yeah, and it's I can't stress enough, Murph. Like I was there. Like there was a point where it's like I really didn't know what I was going to do, because I kind of hit what I figured was my lowest weight. I was okay and happy with there, but I felt a constant urge of like, well, what's next?
yeah.
And sometimes the big what's next is just finding out what's forever. So,
Yep.
you know, I would really suggest like sit down, think a little bit, like what do you want your life to look like 5, 10, maybe even 15 years from now, and start working backwards off of that.
yeah.
D had a comment. Honestly, Murph, the more muscle I build, the more critical I get of my skin. It's like you kill yourself for this killer body only to be distracted by skin. Had to learn to accept until I get surgery. And I'm going to tell you this, D, as someone who did get skin removal surgery, you will still continuously be critical of yourself, right? And so I think the big thing is you need to learn to just really, you know, be accepting of what you have and what you've earned, and not saying that you're not at this point, but I do find that it's easy for us to constantly be critical. Like, you know, I've said this in my post before, you know, when I was 380 pounds or 390 pounds, did I ever think I'd be at 210? And if I were to say, hey, you're going to be 210 in 6 months or in a year, how would you feel? Would you be happy with everything that you have? And I would say, yeah, frig, I would love everything. And then when you're at 210, if I were to say, hey, you're probably going to get down to 165, do you think you'd be happy? And I'd be like, yeah, for sure, I'm going to be happy. Then I got loose skin, and then I'm scrawny, and then you see my ribs, and then you see all my bones, and then it's like, okay, I'm going to gain 20 pounds of muscle, and then you gain it, and then it's just like, still unhappy, still things that I'm picking.
Have chest hair,
and then I don't have chest hair, and I can't really rock this V-neck the way I want to. So yeah, 100%. Be happy with what you have. Be grateful for all the hard work and celebrate the hard work that you put in. Again, be kind. Be kind to yourself, right? That's the big thing.
Sure.
There's a term that I've been reflecting on a lot this the last couple of weeks called radical acceptance. It's accepting things where they're at. It's not ignoring it. It's just being aware. So it's like, you know, I try to practice that in my daily life of like, wow, like, you know, I'm getting more loose skin around my stomach. Interesting. I'm not going to ignore it or say, or try to sugarcoat it of like, oh, but I did everything great and da-da-da. No, it's just, it is what it is. And it's just accepting what is. And I found for myself, that's helpful just to kind of be grateful, but also acknowledge emotions of like disappointment or going like, oh man, I didn't think about that, about this aspect of that. Just being aware of it all is okay.
Yeah. That's good. Thank you guys. I really appreciate, you know, D, what D said, and everybody. Thank you. I appreciate it. And yeah, definitely got to give yourself some grace, you know, and that's a lesson that I'm learning. It's, you know, it's a big, and I stress this a lot, and I talk about it a lot, even on my Instagram, is, you know, it's this mental struggle. It's this, you know, it's these head games that we play with ourselves. And you know, we're never happy. We're never satisfied. We're always wanting more, bigger, better, faster, stronger, you know, but sitting down and figuring out exactly what it is that you need to make you happy, And I am happy. I am happy. Don't get me wrong. I just, I just feel like I'm at a bit of a crossroads. What's next? And so just wanted to throw that out there. Next question, if anybody has one, I do have another one for Rob. If you guys don't, I don't want to.
Go for it, but I just do want to highlight, just you bringing up sort of what you're going through, Murph. The chat has been friggin' blowing up, and I think, obviously it's for support for you, but I think the other thing is you see it's something that we all go through, right? Like Justin was even talking about his. Justin, if you don't mind me sharing, I'm going to share it if that's okay. I'll wait for you to answer just because I don't know if you want me to, but everyone goes through this, right? Everyone goes through these struggles and these challenges. And Rob even said, that 1.5 to 3 year mark was where you started really questioning, okay, so what am I going to do next? Where is the next step? And I 100% went through that as well. So I definitely think, it's something that is awesome for all of us to understand. Justin had mentioned that he had felt like crap at his lowest weight, looked good, but didn't feel good. And he has his 1.5 year follow-up tomorrow. And he's going to be sad because he's not going to be down that 100 pounds. And I know that 100-pound mark is something we all sort of strive for and look towards whenever we're doing this. But for me, what I was saying to Just is, look at you, you're a tank. Like you're so physically fit. You feel good. You're happier than when you were at your lightest. So again, what are those markers of what's going to give you happiness? Is it going to be that 100-pound number that you're at 100 or 101? Or is it going to be the fact that you look great, you feel great, and you're happy in your skin, right? So it's tough to bust out of that.
I was just going to say, and it's okay to grieve that, like, dang it, like that was something I had in my mind of like 100 pounds. That was kind of a big deal. And even though I know health-wise, like I'm feeling good and all of that, like that still can be a bummer. Like, and that's okay.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Sorry, Murph, go ahead. Ask your question, brother.
No, it's okay. I think Justin said that. Did you share his?
I did.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I found a way to look at the chats finally. So I was reading them while you were doing that. I'm terribly sorry. So and maybe maybe.
Oh wow! I just saw this too. Oh man!
Technology, guys.
I feel like I got to go back and do all this now.
All of it.
Play the sexy music to wake y'all back up again.
No more sexy music.
Always sexy music.
Soiled
sexy
myself.
Music
I was in a quiet moment
V-necks.
for the first time.
Rob's falling asleep.
It happens sometimes.
No, that's all right. So, Rob, what does your I know you post a lot of great content, and I love all of your videos. But I know when you're editing and doing things, it's not. You could have done that yesterday. You know what I mean? And like, so what are you doing day to day? What does your day-to-day routine look like? Are you getting up at 4 a.m.? Are you one of those guys, or what are you doing exactly to stay consistent? Because you said consistency is key. So how are you being consistent? Being a family man, you got the kids, the wife, the job. You're still teaching. Is that right?
I didn't quit my day job. I have to work the day job. That's what pays some of the bills. So
Yeah. So what does your daily routine look like?
For me, it's you can kind of see a bit of it on my stories. So I wake up every morning at about 4:45 and I hop on the scale and I check my weight and I check my bank account just to see where we stand. Then I come down and I eat a banana. And then I get dressed and I start to listen to my podcasts of the morning to kind of get me in the right mindset and frame. And as I'm doing that, I'll check my agenda to see what I have to do for the day. And then I'll start my car. I'll pour my iced coffee. I'll pack my lunch. And then around then, the car's warm enough that I'll go in. I'll pack up all my bag. I'll go to the gym. I'll work out for about an hour and a half. Then when I come back, I grab a quick shower. I get dressed. I go. I teach my day. Depending on the day, I might be tutoring after school. I'm finally scaling back on after school activities, but I'll pick my kids up from school. I'll get snacks and homework done. I'll get them out to karate, gymnastics, or dance, depending on the day. And then I come home and I start to meal prep and meet with clients. And then somewhere around there, I'll come up on Bariatric podcasts and I'll talk to them. And then I'll go to bed around 9. But that's the day, and I just repeat it every day for the rest of my life. And
it's that easy, huh? It's that.
You know what? When you're super clear about your calendar, your goals, and what's important to you, it really is. And that's one of the things that I can't stress enough. And when I work with people, I try to explain to them is I'm really not that smart. I'm consistent and organized. And I'm really just running off a Google Calendar of so many times we get decision fatigue. But if you build and structure your day, it kind of removes having to make the decisions away because you just move on to the next thing, move on to the next thing, move on to the next thing. And you do what makes you feel important. So it's like I schedule out and plan out time for family time. I plan out dinners and lunches. And then, you follow whatever's next on the calendar.
Now, have you always been that consistent with things in your life? Or how did you start? 'Cause for me, it was just getting up and making the bed. After I'd get up and just make the bed and have my coffee, I was done for the day. Like that was it. Just, and then I just started adding on, a new little task, just this one thing. And then now, I mean, there's more consistency happening. Is same for you? Would you say,
I haven't made my bed in 12 years, but yes, the same logic of it is it starts small. Like so many people ask me, like, how do you build my day out? And I'm like, well, it starts by just planning your meals. It's one of those of building out a calendar so that you know what you're going to eat. And do I have it planned out for 3 months? I do. But it's because it takes the same amount of time to plan for a week as it does 3 months. So it's one of those when you build a system and you start working within the system, it saves up time elsewhere. And then it just stacks on. It's one of those that movement's very important to me. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm in the gym. Wednesday, I take that time to wake up early and still reflect on myself or just take an extra hour to sleep guilt-free and know that that's my rest day. Sunday morning is my meal prep before church, and it's my time to get things done and work on clients and grade papers. Saturday morning, it's getting sure that everything's done and making my budget and making sure that next week's content and everything is together so that by the time my wife and kids wake up, a lot of the times I've already met with clients, I've already gotten my work done, and I can be present for them. But if you want to get all your goals done, you have to be very intentional with your time. And it really does come down to a lot of it. So many people are probably freaking out right now and being like, what the heck is wrong with him?
Short circuit. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I haven't looked in a minute here. Yeah. Justin says you're a machine. Herb said Rob's Google Calendar is my life goal.
Do you color coordinate, Rob? Do you have colors for stuff?
Yeah, I have it up now. Can I share my screen? Do I share a screen here? Is that a no? Is that like a...
Sure.
Like, to give you an idea, this is my life.
You're doing old school share screen. I like it.
Yeah, this is how like a dad with an iPad does it,
Rob dad. I love it.
But yeah, it's you get intentional with your time and it's good. Like when people ask me, like what I don't know, like I got a chance to change my life and I got a chance to extend my life, and I want to make sure I use every minute of my life possible to hit the goals that I want to hit. It's a lot of other things. I want to make sure that my budget's perfect so that I can send my kids to Disney World. I want to make sure that they can go to college. I want to make sure that my health is at the right place, that I'm dancing at not just their weddings, but their kids' weddings. I want to make sure that this life-changing surgery for me is a life change, and it's something that I can do consistently for the rest of my life. And there's no more rewarding feeling than when I get in bed at 9 o'clock every night, unless I come on and talk to you guys, knowing that I gave it my all every single day.
You got to sleep in a little bit today though, right? Since
today was the sleep-in day. So I made it to like 6:30, and I got to, because of a couple adjustments, I got to make breakfast for my kids. I got to have breakfast with my kids and drop them off to school. That doesn't happen every day. But, it does make it that much more special. And it's even that much more special when you work your ass off to make sure that you show up in the best way possible. I can pick my kids up from karate and then literally pick my kid up after karate and not get worried or worry about slipping a disc. It's that's the goal. That's the goal for me every day.
100%.
I think
Awesome.
too, like, because I'm just a year post-op, I think hearing what you're saying, Rob, like before my surgery, it would have felt very overwhelming. Like, oh my gosh, this is all the stuff that I should be doing or that I have to do to make my life better. And I think I just want to call that out, because what I have found is now after surgery, before I had so much energy and time wrapped up in just stuff that didn't make sense, me trying to people please, me, doing all these things that weren't contributing to my life in any way. I had very little hope in a lot of ways. And now after surgery, I just have had to do a lot of evaluating of what actually brings me joy. What do I get fulfillment out of? And so hearing it now, what you're saying, it's like, yes, you're busy, but what I hear, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's like you are living the life that you want to live, though. This is just how you manage it all to get it to have it fit. But I think people who don't have a lot of hope, it's like, oh my gosh, that sounds so overwhelming. And that might be something, if you're feeling that way from hearing Rob talk of like, oh my gosh, that is so overwhelming, I could never do something like that. It's not, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, it's not that you feel like you have to do all of these things. It's that you want to do them and you're making it fit. And that's what you've learned, is what those things are that you enjoy. And I think that's the difference between feeling overwhelmed by things you have to do versus getting to do what you love to do every day. That's so cool.
Thanks, Shay. And it's true. I want to fill every minute of my life with the joy and happiness and positivity, and I want to help people. And it's one of those, like, I'm very blessed. We were talking about it in men's support tonight, and it was one of those things of I'm at an off spot today. I have 2 more days of workouts I don't really want to do. I still have another week of school before spring break, and I love my job. I'm at a beautiful weight. I've got money in the bank. I have no reason to wake up tomorrow at 4:45 a.m. and get it done. But the difference is, like, if you're looking for motivation, it really has to come from within, and it has to build of the goal is to always get my stuff done. So it's one of those, like, yeah, my bed's warm, my family's beautiful, and I've got money in the bank. And I'm not saying that to be a jerk. I'm saying that of, like, when you get to maintenance, you've hit your goals, and it becomes a question of what's going to make you happy to do it every day.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. We did get a question. I know we have just a few minutes left, but I just feel really passionate about this question. No surprise here, but Savannah had asked, do you have any recommendations for people with ADD, ADHD, and weight loss? And that's kind of a big thing. Maybe I'll do like something separate in Instagram Live to kind of cover that more fully. But I myself have ADD. And so that's something that I know firsthand very well. I do take a low dose medication to help. And I think sometimes having so much structure is really difficult for me. And I used to always try to mold myself in that box of like having to do things a certain way because that's how everybody else does it. My brain just doesn't really work that way. And so it's been finding what works for me and not comparing. And I know, Rob, you work with kiddos who probably have this, as well with teaching. Any feedback or thoughts on that as well?
Yeah, you got to find what works for you. And I think ADD and ADHD manifests differently for everyone. So it's tough to really know what Savannah has. So for some people with ADD or ADHD, me showing a structure and routine has helped them thrive and take off. But I think you're right, Shay. There are, for others, like this, like showing is a mind melt that doesn't work for them. I hope Savannah could DM me if possible, because I actually have a personal trainer. She's not bariatric, but she focuses solely with people who have ADD and ADHD with goal setting, fitness, and nutrition. And I swear by her. But again, this is an example of like, I might not be Savannah's cup of tea, but I want to find you the person who does. And I think I know who does that for you. So like slide into the DMs in the most HR friendly way possible.
Don't pull a D and get all thirsty with Justin, that bromance.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love D though.
It.
Can I talk about, like, he's just one of the most positive and kindest souls in the community. And I don't say that because he bought me underpants. I say that because he did. He did.
Awesome.
Yeah. I was on when we did the Our Sleeve Life podcast Philly show. That dropped today. Shameless plug for something else, but actually my day is full of Robs. I started my day. They released the episode I did with Rob Spinella. I'm here with you doing this one. But I talked about, like, I'm on a Costco budget. I can't even afford underpants with, other than Costco underpants. And D's like, no man should live in Costco underpants. Shout out to him.
I love
I
that.
too live in Costco underpants. DFY.
I don't know if that's so you could buy underpants, but I still have to wear Costco underpants. But
Hey,
Awesome.
priorities. Nothing's
That's
wrong
good.
with Costco. I love Costco.
There you go. There you go. We are running out of time here, so that's almost all the time we have tonight. But Rob, in case anyone here does not know, where can they find you?
my weight is history. It's still the same Instagram as always. I just got rid of the underscores. Reach out to you guys, and I'm sure you'll all connect me to them. But I just want you don't have to be alone. You don't have to, not know what you're doing. And I love talking about goals. Like Murph, like maybe we sit down and figure something out. But it's one of those of, like, even if you don't want to work with me, like, let's sit and figure out what you need to do to hit your goals. And I'm just happy.
Just saying, I would love to see that in an Instagram live if you felt comfortable with that, both of you. But that would be fun to watch. Just saying.
Well, maybe that's something we can talk about June 5th, June 4th, 5th, I think, Rob. I'll be on your show. So maybe we can discuss some goals, and that could be fun.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that goes back to the Google Calendar. Is like, I'm booked out for things with that, but it's one of those we absolutely can. And I'd be honored to talk with all of you. So
it's been a pleasure, sir. Thank you so much for
pleasure's been all mine. I can't stress.
Oh, we absolutely love you.
Hey, love you guys too. And can I just close on this of what you three are doing for this community and helping provide more light into it and showcase so many things. I'm just so proud of all the work you're doing. And if you ever need anything, just know I'm in your corner, gang.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Rob. Thank you. We really, really do appreciate it.
Dad, Rob.
You have some hard hands.
Yeah.
I'm trying to line it up with my V.
I like that.
See that? Perfect.
Wow. Even waiting your name, Rob, is being nice.
Right?
Today.
So, Shay, this brings day one of March Madness to a close. Please share with us what's next on the ticket for March Madness for us at the waiting table.
This is just the start. I can't believe the day is over already. But next week we got more coming. We have at I'm going to use Eastern time, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to have Dr. Chris Morgan, who I have known for a really long time. He's an internal med and pediatric doc. He's been practicing for many, many years. Super passionate about helping people with obesity and just overall lifestyle. So it's going to be an Ask a Doc question. So if you guys can send those questions to us beforehand, just so we can give him a little bit of a heads up and get some of those questions, but super excited to have him. And then that night, we're not doing anything on YouTube, but at 9:00 Eastern Standard Time, we're going to do a full live happy hour on Instagram Live. So bring your drinks. We never know what we're going to have on happy hour. We could be talking about chest hair. We could be talking about dogs. I mean, who knows? So it's going to be, we could poop. Poop is usually always a sure bet.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a fun time. So we're so excited. And thank you again, Dad Rob, for being here. This was awesome.
Anytime. And if the other Rob needs chest hair, I'm proud to say that after bariatric surgery, I have not lost any of mine. No matter how much I wish I had hair loss, you can have it from my chest, my back, my ears. You just tell me which part you want. And
there you go.
And enjoy everyone who stayed to the very end. You can't unsee that now.
Thank you once again, Rob. And thank you to all of you guys for joining us on another episode of the Waiting Table Podcast, where we're serving the weight loss community
1 pound at a time.
Thanks, everybody.
Guys.
This is the time to dance. Dance.
Now it's the V. That's the V-neck shimmy.
Okay.
Bring your booty thing back out, Murph.
Oh, hey.
Snap.
See, everyone's rocking.
We're all doing the V's.
How deep?
Oh, there you go.
See, that's so deep. You got it.
So deep.
Thank you very much, guys. Rob, it was a pleasure. Have a good night, guys.
Later, everyone.